everyone, I'm back for another video. I know it's a lot of videos, but they're necessary. So I'm going to do exercise 16 from page 47 from your textbook. So let's look at letter A. We have 400 and we have to take away 38. So I did the digits in my hundreds place, right? So I have 4 in my hundreds place. 4 minus nothing, well, that's still 4. And because I'm in my hundreds place, I wrote the two zeros, so I have 400. Now I'm going to look at the digits in my tens place. 0 minus 3. I can't subtract because I would have to borrow. If I look at the digits in my ones place, I have 0 minus 8. Again, I would have to borrow. So I'm just going to go back to my tens place. And if I have 0, how much do I need in order to get to 3? I'm going to need 3 more, right? Let's see. I'm going to need 3 more. So I'm going to write that in the tens place. And because 3 is in my tens place, this is actually going to be 30. Now I'm going to subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. Can I subtract 3 from a 0? I don't have enough, so I would have to borrow. This is going to be a 3, and instead of having a 0, I'm going to have a 10. So now that I have 10, I can subtract 3. So if I have 10 and I take away 3, I'm going to be left with how much? I'm going to be left with 7. 3 minus nothing, that's still 3. So far, I have 370, but again, I'm not done because I need to subtract the digits in my ones place, which are 0 and 8. So if I have 0, how much do I need in order to get to 8? How many digits do I need in order to get to 8? I'm going to need 8 digits, right? I'm going to subtract again. Now, can I subtract 8 from a 0? I would have to borrow. So he's no longer going to have 7. Now he's going to have 6. And instead of having a 0, I'm going to have a 10. So now I can subtract. If I have 10 and I take away 8, I'm going to be left with 2. And 6 minus nothing, it's still 6. 3 minus nothing, that's still a 3. So the answer is 362. Let's do letter B. 700 and I have to take away 276. If I have 7 and I take away 2, I'm going to be left with 5. Let's see, there you go. 5, and because I'm in my hundreds place, it's going to be 500. So let's see. I have 0 and I have to take away 7. I can't, I would have to borrow. If I look at the digits in my ones place, same thing. I have 0 and I have to take away 6. I would have to borrow. So I'm going to go back to my tens place. So if I have 0, how much do I need in order to get to 7? I'm going to need 7. And because I'm in my tens place, this is going to be a 70. Now I'm going to subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. Can I subtract 7 from a 0? I would have to borrow. So he's no longer going to be 5. He's going to be a 4. And the 10 that I borrowed is going to go to this guy. He's no longer going to be 0. He's going to be a 10. So now that I have 10 and I take away 7, I'm going to be left with 3, right? 4 minus nothing, that's still 4. So far I have 430. I'm not done. Remember, I need to subtract the digits in my ones place. So if I have 0, how much do I need in order to get to 6? I still need 6 digits. Now I get to subtract. So I cannot subtract 6 from a 0 because I don't have enough, which means that I would have to borrow. So he's no longer going to be 3. He's going to be a 2. He's no longer going to be 0. He's going to be a 10. Now that I have 10, I can subtract 6. I'm going to be left with 4, and I'm going to drop that 2, and I'm going to drop that 4. So the answer is 424. I'm going to write this a little bit better. There you go. So let's do letter C. In letter C, we have 402 and we have to take away 337, right? I'm going to go ahead and do the digits in my hundreds place. So if I have 4 and I take away 3, I'm going to be left with 1. And because I'm in my hundreds place, this is going to be 100, right? It's going to be 100. Now, in my tens place, 0 minus 3. Can I subtract 3 from a 0? Nope, I don't have enough. If I look at the digits in my ones place, I have 2 and I have to subtract 7. Can I do that? Can I subtract 7 if I only have 2? Nope, I would have to borrow. So I'm going to go back to my tens place and let's think. If I have 0, how much do I need in order to get to 3? I'm going to need 3 digits, right? And because I'm in my tens place, this is going to be a 30. And now I'm going to subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. Can I subtract 0? Can I subtract 3 from a 0? I would have to borrow. He's going to be a 10, right? The 1 and the 0, a 10. This guy is going to be left with nothing. And now I can subtract. If I have 10 and I take away 3, I'm going to be left with 7, right? I'm going to be left with 7, and I don't have to write anything here because it's a 0. So far I have 70, right? I have 70. But what do I do now? What do I have to do? Okay, so now I need to do the digits in my ones place, right? So if I have 2, how much do I need in order to get to 7? I'm going to need 5 digits, right? I'm going to need 5 digits, so I'm going to write that in my ones place. Now I can subtract. So can I subtract 5 from a 0? I would have to borrow. So he's no longer going to have 7, he's going to have 6, and he's no longer going to have 0, he's going to have a 10. Now I can subtract. If I have 10 and I take away 5, I'm going to be left with 5. And now 6 minus nothing, it's still 6. So the answer is 65. Remember, I did this, and the first thing I did was the digits in my hundreds place, and the digits in my tens and in my ones place, I would have to borrow. So that's why I did subtract, subtract, subtract. That was the method that I did.